I just got done watching a video about the reality of the Fountain of Youth and how, if anything, there were multiple fountains of youth throughout the entire world. It's the previous video after this. I would highly recommend you guys go take a look at it, because what this ends up making me think about is demons being parasites, and why you look at like all of these medieval style paintings where people are like sick and diseased and whatnot, and where we have tales of things like Ponce de Leon trying to go down to Florida to look for the Fountain of Youth. It's like, why was humanity plagued to a point to where we would need multiple fountains throughout the entire world to literally rid people of illness and disease? What in God's name caused the entire population to be riddled with disease to where they would need multiple fountains? A fountain of youth, a fountain for osteoporosis, a fountain for purification of blood. And then I look at like how sick and diseased we are these days, and it makes sense. I mean, it makes perfect sense when you really think about it, that if aliens are parasites, then this like demonic invasions happened in our past before. You want to talk about like an alien invasion, like demons are the aliens. These demonic parasites have inhabited humanity in the past, and they've possessed us, they've enfeebled us, they've made us more diseased. And in previous time periods, they knew this. They knew that people were carrying parasites that harbored dark and demonic energies, and so they began to purify themselves. This is why you look at like etheric cities, cathedrals that have just like sacred geometry in the window. And again, why water and purification is so important, and why there are strict regiments, so to speak, about what you, like in the Bible, about what you should eat, why you should stay away from pork, why you should stay away from certain things like that, because of what's inside them. We're not simply talking about just, oh shucks, I've got a stomach bug. Look at some of these images of demons and parasites. Look at some of these images of what these like little bugs actually look like. It was like an alternative history theory, where they were like just looking at some of the architecture of the past and seeing some anomalous things, and one of the sculptures depicted a knight with what looked to be like some type of worm-like entity coming from either its chest or its belly. And in the FOJC radio episode on YouTube, they were doing like a whole little series where they were looking into Stargate, and they were doing like a deep dive on what the Goa'uld are. Like they're their own person, but they have like a whole nother species residing inside them. It is like a possessing entity. And what's so wild is like I was not thinking about this at all. These were not references that I thought of whenever I jumped into this video, but it makes perfect sense and is in total alignment with everything we've discussed so far. And what's so wild is like I was thinking about this earlier this morning on the hike. I was just like, man, not that the carpets have to match the drapes, but that the internal has to match the external. And I mean that like in a spiritual sense, like demons have to possess a body. You can see this in stuff like with The Exorcist, and it's not always like that, but they have to get inside the body, and they have to destroy the mind and then destroy the body, because that's just where they feel comfortable. The demons have to express themselves physically, right? So interdimensionally, spiritually, they can inhabit people, and they have to physically express themselves. And unfortunately, this is like one of the reasons why you see a lot of the things going on in the body modification, grinder, biohacking community, right? These type of people are holding on to some crazy spirits, and they have to make themselves look like what they actually feel. And you hear them say this, they just want to express what their spirit feels like. 9 times out of 10, the spirit feels effing crazy, and we're just like, hey, you keep doing you. But to stay over here on topic with just, the fountains of youth, humanity having these demonic parasites trying to gain a foothold here, and how it's much more sophisticated than we could ever comprehend. We don't really take our health serious. We don't take society serious. We don't take life serious. And as you've been following over here on the page, we need to take into consideration our multidimensional existence and awareness. We need to take that serious, because that's a whole different state of existence that requires curation and attendance. And so I think that these parasites are still with us. I think this is one of the reasons why they destroyed all the bells in the past. I think this is one of the reasons why we do have actual access to the Fountain of Youth. and why we are literally being ruled by like a pharmacological mafia that literally wants to envenom and enfeeble us and make us weak and infertile because they see us as a food source. And as any parasitical type species would do, is they would put us to sleep, it would pacify us, it would make us numb, ignorant, unaware of their presence, right? It's like I remember hearing this quote years ago when referencing people like Carlos Castaneda. He talked about these beings being parasites, interdimensional, multidimensional spiritual parasites, predatorial spirits, predatorial parasites that wanted to give us their mind. Because without us, they are nothing. But with us, they can feel a semblance of reality. They want to give us their mind, and they want to take ours.